All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm honored today to have a guest here. We're going to be talking to V. Kawa about her application process, about her MBA, and all the things that she's been doing and hopes to do in the future. So, V, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi Vince. I'm really excited to be here. I'm South African, but I grew up moving all around the world. After high school, I moved to the United Kingdom and I did a law degree at the London School of Economics and then Oxford University. I then trained as a lawyer in London and Hong Kong. And I realized that I really wanted to be back in South Africa and make an impact. So I moved back to South Africa, and my mother and I opened and run an NGO that deals with sexual violence against women and children in Johannesburg.
That sounds incredible and it sounds intense. How long have you been doing that work?
Gosh, I've been doing it for about 5 years now. Time really does fly. And yeah, a part of me is really, really sad to be leaving, but I'm also excited for the next step of my journey at Wharton.
Yeah. So, tell us more about your motivations. Why did you decide to apply to an MBA at this time?
I think I'm at a point in my career where I do want to make another career transition. And having worked at the NGO, I've realized what skills I don't have. And I want to use the MBA as a stepping stone to acquire some of those skills and also to really tap into the network at Wharton. Another personal reason is my mom actually went to Wharton. And before that, she was a teacher and psychologist. And so she used the MBA to make, yeah, a really big career leap. And I've seen all of the doors it's opened up for her earlier on in her career and even continuing until now. And so that was another big motivation for me.
Tell us more about what you hope to do with your MBA.
So post MBA, I have pretty big dreams. I really want to be back in sub-Saharan Africa. That's where my heart is. And there are kind of two different things that I've been thinking about doing. One is I would love to do an incubator that actually connects entrepreneurs from across the continent. I think one of the problems in Africa right now is there's so many blocks just with borders and with financing. And I think there's so many young entrepreneurs who've got great ideas, yet they don't have an ability to connect intracontinent. So that's one of the things I'm looking to do. The second thing is I would love to work in the energy sphere in sub-Saharan Africa, specifically renewable energy. I see so much potential, and I think that is the way of the future. And yeah, so that's something I'm really, really excited about.
So you're pretty tapped into the sort of entrepreneurial ecosystems there already, and you can sense what's on the horizon.
Yeah, I'm pretty tapped into ecosystems here. And I also think there's a great entrepreneurial ecosystem in Nairobi and in Uganda and in Lagos and Ghana. And so I really do want to, yeah, find a way to kind of connect all of those different ecosystems and connect people, idea, and yeah, also connect funds.
What are you looking forward to doing in Philly in terms of preparing for those big dreams?
I've already connected with a really entrepreneurial bunch of people at Wharton. We've started an entrepreneurs book club where we've been having biweekly Zoom meetings, as is the COVID times, talking about our ideas. So that's something I'm really looking forward to developing at Wharton. I'm also looking forward to shoring up my leadership skills. I really want to participate in one of the McNulty ventures, and yeah, just taking advantage of all of the leadership opportunities.
Let's back up and talk about the application process. Looking back on it now that it's over, what were some sort of best practices or tips? Because the people watching this video are probably trying to follow in your footsteps.
I think it's really important to be authentic. And I know that people say that, and a lot of the time you think, oh, maybe I need to fit into a box. And I think, especially applying to a very quant finance school like Wharton, but I think they really are looking for different types of people. The people in my class who I've talked to, some people come from an education background. There's someone here in Johannesburg who is running their own school at the moment. And yeah, there's someone who's a consultant. So I think they really are looking for people from different backgrounds. So I think in your essays, be very genuine to who you are. And I would also say start writing your essays early and write and rewrite and write and rewrite. And definitely get the input of other people in your life and make sure that you really are highlighting your best qualities.
Got it. Um, how much time passed between when you decided to get the degree and when you finally hit submit? Was it a year or more than a year or less than a year?
For me, it probably was less than a year. I think I spent a lot of time thinking about doing the degree, but when I actually sat down and started looking at the applications very seriously, I probably started looking at them in August and I submitted round two. So I submitted at the end of December.
Got it. Looking back, is there anything you would change? Is there anything you would do differently in terms of the application?
Um, I don't think there is anything I would do differently. Maybe the one thing is apply earlier. I think you always put yourself in really good stead if you can get your application ready for round one. I think that's something really, really important. And I would also say to people who aren't necessarily quants like myself, don't be scared to take the GRE instead of the GMAT and really do incredibly well on that. I found the GRE a lot easier because I didn't really have to focus on the verbal side as much because being a lawyer, I knew I had that down. So I could really dedicate myself to the quant. And especially if you're also an international, you might not be used to standardized tests. And I think the GMAT is a higher level of standardized testing than the GRE. So I would say, don't be scared to take the GRE. I've spoken to other students who took the GRE and also did well. So yeah, don't feel like you have to like really push yourself and study for the GMAT.
That's great advice. That's really great advice. Um, what else? What else do you want to share? What else do you want to say, or how else do you want to motivate people who hope to follow you soon?
I guess maybe just touching on the TBD. That's where Vince really, really helped me. I think it's a pretty intimidating process. It's unlike any interview I've ever done before. And I think, yeah, for consulting, they've done similar types of interviews. But for people who aren't from that background, yeah, maybe I just wanted to say a few words on that. So I think with the TBD, it's another area just to shine. I think you really need to look at it as yours to lose. And I think also just be very authentic in your presentation and don't necessarily think that you have to say what everyone else is saying. I would actually say try and stand out. And yeah, just be very confident. Did mine in London in person, and I was really nervous beforehand, but I think I talked through it with Vince and with other people. And yeah, take a deep breath and put your best foot forward. In my group, we actually ended up laughing at some point. So also just try and relax and know that they're looking for people who can work in groups, and part of working in a group is having fun and being relaxed. And it won't go perfectly. I don't think it ever does, but just know that if you prepared, you will have put your best foot forward.
Are there any people from your team that you know also got admitted?
Yeah, there are. So I heard that a lot of the times, you kind of sink or swim as a team, and that's why I said it really is a team-based exercise, not so you don't need to try and shine as an individual. And yeah, so I heard three people from my group who I was in contact with got in. Not everyone is going this year because of COVID, but yeah, it's really great to hear that as a group we clearly all did well. And I think that seems like it is a really big part of the Wharton experience is that idea of yeah of working as a team and group work.
Nice. Um, anything else?
Maybe just touching on your personal 10-minute interview after the TBD. I think as someone who is not American, I'm a little bit too humble and I'm not used to really putting myself forward in that way. I would say don't be scared to, yeah, be really honest about your dreams, even if they're huge dreams and may seem unrealistic. They want people who, yeah, want to change the world and who want to make a difference. So, yeah, just be very honest, be very confident. If you're talking about club involvement, don't be scared to say in the second year, I would love to be president of this club. I'd love to take a leadership position. So I would say, yeah, just really, yeah, really be as confident and as authentic and as honest as possible.
That's great advice. I hope everyone's listening. That's really fantastic. That's golden.
That's actually advice I got from you. I remember we were um, talking about clubs, and you said, no, why don't you just say that? Yeah, you want to lead this club. And I think sometimes people from other backgrounds might be scared to say that because it might be seen as kind of showing off and not being humble enough. But yeah, don't be afraid to just be bold in that way.
That's what you did, and it's clearly worked out.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be yeah starting in a couple of. It's gone down to weeks now rather than months.
And you were saying that some of the classes might be virtual, but you're not concerned about that because you think you can get a lot out of the experience and network anyway.
Yeah, so obviously this is COVID times. 2020 is a crazy year for everyone. And so right now Wharton I think is working on a semi virtual schedule. We'll know for sure on July 1st. But I'm really looking forward to just being in Philadelphia. I think even with a virtual welcome weekend, I've met so many students. Like I said, we've started an entrepreneurs book club where we meet twice a week. We have like we have donut that introduces students to each other. So once a week you'll get an introduction, and then you'll hop on a Zoom call and speak to someone for half an hour or an hour. And so I do think as students we're really trying to make the best of this virtually. And in some ways I think we might end up being a tighter class since we'll all have survived the ups and downs of the roller coaster that is COVID.
And all these connections, it sort of incentivizes people to reach out more in a way.
Yeah, I definitely think it incentivizes people to reach out more. And I think in a world where recruitment might be virtual or semi-virtual, it's teaching us how to utilize Zoom, how to network via Zoom and not in person. And yeah, so I think these actually are good skills to have in your pocket.
And what are some things you envision yourself doing at Wharton in terms of, preparing? Like, which club do you want to be the president of?
Yeah, sure. I would love to be part of Out for Biz. That is Wharton's LGBTQI plus network. I think especially as an African with some countries not being where people aren't able to be out, I think that's really important. I would love to be involved in the WASA Club. That's the Wharton Africa Students Association. And there's so many other really fun clubs. I love cooking. There's a food club. There's a wine club. Food and wine tend to go very well together. And yeah, I mean, there's so much that feel like I've only just touched the surface, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know more about it once I'm on the ground in Philly.
Cool. Well, thanks for your time. I hope everyone gets motivated and super excited to put their best foot forward, to be bold, to be authentic, and to hopefully be joining you while you're there in a year's
Yeah,
time.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. And I just want to say to students, I think a lot of people are scared that they can't get into these schools, especially if maybe you didn't go to an American undergrad. But I think it's really worth like taking the risk and try. And yeah, you just never know what may come out of it. And good luck to everyone who's frantically taking their different assessments right now and writing their essays. Yeah, best of luck. And I know that you probably will end up going somewhere great.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome. Bye.